So we have to talk about the Safeway grocery store out of San Francisco. Now, last year I did a video about them, and the reason why I did a video about them because they were talking about shutting down, and the reason why they were thinking about on the cusp of shutting down was because of due to crime and theft. Now, before they could shut down, the city of San Francisco threatened to sue them, right, to stay open. And now imagine that a city that you're not making money as a business, and the city comes and says, "Hey, if you shut down, we're going to sue you." Now that obviously only in a place like San Francisco would that happen, right? Because if you're not making money, then of course, like as the free market exists, you would shut down. But they threatened to sue them, and then Safeway said, "Okay, we'll renew the lease for another year, and then after that, we'll be done." Okay, and now that time has come where Safeway is set to close. And of course, it's due to crime and theft. And it's crazy because instead of focusing so much on trying to keep this store open, you should be focused on what's causing it to happen. With all the theft and crime, you should be outside. You should be out there trying to clean up your streets. Okay, because you see businesses all over in California, certain places of California, especially San Francisco, there's so much crime, there's so much theft that it makes it hard for businesses to operate. But because a lot of the government, the politicians, they don't do anything, a lot of these businesses say, you know what, it's time to go. And of course, Safeway is getting to that point where they're saying, you know what, it's time to move on.
An embattled Safeway in San Francisco will close nearly a year after city leaders push to keep it open. Safeway says its location near Geary Boulevard and Webster Street will close due to issues with safety and theft. KRON 4's Will Tran has more.
The Safeway Fillmore area will soon be no more. Come February 7th, we know that's the final day for this store. After 40 years in business, that's the finish line. They will turn off the lights and close the doors forever. They actually wanted to close this 11 months ago, but the city and the community pushed hard for Safeway to continue, and that's when they signed an extra lease to go on as long as they are. But next year, in less than 2 months, it will be over. Let me show you some images inside that we got earlier this morning. Safeway has mentioned the safety of its employees and just theft that is out of control. Look at these images. Inside at this one particular area, you see 3 security guards inside. I saw actually 2 more outside just to keep a close eye on the shoppers. And then if you go through a line, forget about self-checkout. They removed that several months ago because it just wasn't stopping anybody. The honor system was not working. So now, if a cashier is not there, the gate is closed. It's open, of course, when you go through and pay, then the gate is open. So lots of problems for Safeway, and Safeway in the end said it simply was not worth it for them to continue. But left in the wake of all this is the community, of course.
I mean, it's going to create a food desert in this community, and it really is a community institution that I'm just very disappointed that there is not better efforts underway to save this community institution, because it's going to leave a lot of low-income people, seniors, and families without a place to go for what we need.
And this is the problem, right? Because obviously when you have, in a low income area, this is pretty much like the only grocery store that's there, right? Like he said, it's going to create a food desert where, in order to get the groceries that you need, you're gonna probably have to go across town, where a lot of these people probably don't have access to reliable transportation. Obviously, you have to take buses or anything like that, but that makes it very difficult, especially when you want to go shopping. And you can't blame the store, right? What they're doing is they want to operate in that business. They understand the need for people to have, especially in low income areas, to have access to grocery, to access to food, but if the politicians, the government is not doing enough to make sure that the business can operate, then it makes no sense. And it's so sad because this seems like an easy fix, right? It seems like an easy solution to a problem, right? People that are committing crimes, you make sure to punish them, right? Lock them up, do whatever you got to do to make sure you get them off the street so these businesses can operate. But it seems like places like, of course, San Francisco, they do everything the opposite. Right, they make it very difficult for businesses to operate. They make it almost gets to a point where it almost seems like they want these businesses to leave. And when they do try to leave, then you try to sue them because they're leaving. Like this is not the solution. You don't sue the business for not being able to operate. Okay, and who knows what kind of extra deal they did to make sure they can stay there for another year. But obviously it got to a point where it said, you know what, this is not working. And of course, a lot of people in the community are not happy about this. Right? Of course, they're complaining. They're saying this is not fair. This is not justice, and something needs to be done. And of course, what needs to be done is you need to be locking up criminals. You need to make it safe around the area so these businesses can operate, so that people can then shop at these businesses. But if you're not doing that, you're just going to make it difficult. So a lot of people are angry and not happy that Safeway is closing.
The community is really enraged, and they're demanding the city save what they're calling a pillar in the community.
A local Safeway store. And today they held a march to City Hall asking for leaders to step up. Ground 4's Leslie Gooden has the story.
As it's really important to my family.
We want you to know that the Fillmore is upset and we demand justice. We've been through 50 years and probably more of injustice in the Fillmore, so we want justice this year.
The only justice that needs to be done is you need to lock up the criminals, right? But of course, we know how that's going to go, right? You lock up the majority of the people that are probably committing crimes are black. So obviously, you locking up black people, that's racism for a lot of people, right? And this is the solution, right? If the people that are committing crimes, making it unsafe for people to shop, the quick solution is you make sure you lock up these criminals and you keep them locked up. That seems like an easy solution. But of course, these cities, they don't make it easy for you, right? They get these criminals, they commit crimes, they lock them up, and then they're right back on the street doing the same old thing. And of course, the good thing is now, obviously California implemented, I forgot what prop that was, where if you do steal items under $950, now it's considered a felony, right? If you get caught multiple times. So at least that's a change that's going in the right direction. However, Safeway's gotten to the point where they say, you know what, this is not working, so we got to move on, right? Because you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough quickly. So let's let them continue.
Days are counting down for this Safeway in the Fillmore. The grocery store, according to the community here, serves as a staple, and its departure is devastating to them.
Well, it's not just a grocery store. It's a full-fledged grocery store. You have a deli, you have a meat market, you have a bakery, you have a pharmacy. You had a bank in there. Wells Fargo, of course, left, so... And it's the only grocery store smack dab in the middle.
On Tuesday, a community rally was held demanding a call to action from local leaders to address the pending closure.
Well, I want everyone to know that we're looking at replacing Safeway with another grocery store.
And what grocery store is that? How does that work, right? You're going to just, unless someone, a business person, entrepreneur is going to say, you know what, here, I'm going to start a business, create this grocery store, I'm going to place it in this area so it can operate. How are you going to do it? Like, what person is going to be like, you know what, let me start a business here, when clearly all of them are going to fail, right? If you're not cleaning up the crime, right? If you're not cleaning up, making it more safer for businesses to operate, it makes no sense for any business to be there. So if you're going to try to get another grocery store, how are you going to do it? It's going to be government funded. We know that's not going to work. But you have to incentivize what business person is going to say, all right, let me open up a business, a grocery store here, and and do the right thing. But if it doesn't make sense financially, they're not going to do it. So I don't know where he's coming from. That's going to say he's going to open up another one. How are you going to do it? Unless you got the money to start it one up, why don't you do it? But that's clearly not going to be the case. It doesn't make any sense.
We're not necessarily focused on keeping Safeway here. What this is about, the unfinished agenda, all the obligations that the city owes this community. It's time for us to have a hearing and get real facts.
Safeway was originally set to close last March, but Mayor London Breed was able to negotiate a deal that would allow the store to remain open until 2025.
1956, San Francisco, you signed off on the San Francisco Redevelopment Agency. So you promised this community, and it's time for you to be responsible and atone for the sins that has been done to a community that went through hell because of the Redevelopment Agency. So we're not playing. We're demanding.
The grocery giant announced last month it would close on February 7th. Until then, the community says they will push to keep their Safeway.
So yeah, man, look, like I said, to me, it sounds like an easy, quick fix, simple solution. Just uphold, bring back law and order. Okay, people commit crimes. You hold them accountable, and that's clearly something that place like California lacks. And of course, people have nobody to blame but themselves because they vote these people in, right? They vote for these laws. They vote for these politicians that implement these lenient laws, and obviously you're seeing the consequences of those decisions. So what you need to do is make sure that you get a politician, hopefully conservative, right? That preferably conservative, where they can obviously do the right things and make sure they're implementing policies that's going to help your city thrive and make sure that you have a grocery store, that you're not, developing food deserts and people are committing crimes, disincentivizing businesses to operate in your area. So those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe, right? So you guys take care, and I'm gonna go on later.